The reason why I joined FOPSCo, the Filipino Online Professional Services Cooperative, is because I believe that this is a cooperative that all Filipino online professionals own, control, and manage.
So, the reason kaya po ako sumali sa FOPSCo, kailangan natin ng isang sistema at isang samahan na makakatulong sa bawat isa.
This cooperative is a group na pwede silang sumama para mas magabayan sila sa kanilang freelancing journey.
Ako sumali dihan sa FOPSCo kasi para makabuligak sa ato kapwa mga freelancers, and ito talaga ang passion and my mission.
I joined FOPSCo kasi for me, lahat ng ginagawa ko sa FOPSCo is a privilege ko siya tinitignan eh. Kasi once in a lifetime in history na bigyan ka ng chance na mag-contribute.
Stepping stone na rin to para maabot yung goal ko.
The vision of the organization aligns with my personal vision, which is to develop and nurture an organization within Zamboanga City that provides much needed support for our online workers.
I joined FOPSCo because the people I've met have the same values, vision, and mission as mine, and that is to provide assistance to those who would like to jumpstart their career as a freelancer.
One of the reasons why I joined FOPSCo is because as a freelancer, I think it's important for us to have access to training, whether free or paid.
Wanted our individual reputations to have a collective reputation for excellence.
I wanted to be part of an organization that would be a pioneer group of individuals who will be working to promote online freelancing here in the Philippines.
The reason why I joined this organization is that I saw their mission and vision towards helping all Filipino freelancers.
I choose FOPSCo because we learn and grow as a community to help also others.
I feel more safe and secure knowing that my knowledge and skills will only come from the most renowned and experienced online freelancers and racketeras here in the Philippines.
I joined FOPSCo because I saw the potential growth is not just reaching one's goals and being successful, but there is camaraderie.
I am very inspired with their achievements and advocacy in promoting and helping Filipino freelancers.
Want to join FOPSCo because of two things. Number one, I want to help freelancers to get a job. And number two, I want to learn more from you.
I hope that here we will all grow together.
We grow together.
All right. So that's a big yes. We really are growing together. So again, hello and welcome to our webinar series tonight entitled Data Engineering Basics. Of course, this webinar series is for our FOPSCo members, the ICT graduates, and aspirant freelancers who want to upskill, explore, and acquire new skills when it comes to online professional industry. And of course, this wouldn't be possible without the collaboration of the FOPSCo Media and the Filipino Online Professional Service Cooperative. I'm Dennis Pipagio, and I'll be one of your moderators for tonight. Let me just remind you of our house rule. First, please put your phone on silence mode. Second, mute unnecessary noise that can interfere our webinar. And of course, we are seeking for your active participation with this session. For our live viewers, especially to our FB, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat and welcome and thank you for joining with us. So of course, this particular series is for the collaboration of the DICT also, and especially the SPARTA and the Filipino Online Professional Service Cooperative. And with that, let me call the newest member of the FOPSCo Academy. Hi, Sydney. Magandang gabi. How are you? I
Hello,
hope you can
sir.
hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Good evening. And kumusta po kayo?
I'm doing great. And please take it away, Sydney. Ipakilala mo na
Yes,
sa atin yung ating resource person for tonight. I'm so
of course,
excited.
sir.
And go
Yes.
ahead.
Yes. So again, hello everyone. It's Tuesday again. Kaya naman welcome to FOPSCo Academy for another high quality webinar tonight. Alam kong madaming nag-aabang at excited na naman sa ating topic tonight because it is about the fastest growing job roles in the world, which is data engineering. So it's my honor to introduce to you our guest speaker tonight. He is an assistant professor at the Department of Industrial Engineering and Operations Research, University of the Philippines, Diliman College of Engineering. Major in Information Systems, also in UP Diliman. He was a technology consultant for HP Philippines from 2011 to 2013 and a research engineer for the Diliman Integrative Technical Consultancy Incorporated. He is also a subject matter expert for the DOST's Project SPARTA. He is currently also engaged as a developer and database admin of the University of the Philippines, Diliman's HR management system. He also specializes in the areas of market research management, business analytics applications, data warehousing, information systems, decision support systems, and discrete event simulation. So let us all welcome Professor Raymond FrethLagria. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening, Sydney. Good evening, Dennis, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Anyway, should I share now?
You have the access to share, sir. And thank you. Nandito po tayo sa ating FOPSCo Academy, and you have you have the time to share with us your knowledge and expertise. So excited na kami,
Thank you,
sir. Go
sir.
ahead.
All right.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay, we can see your screen.
Can you see my screen? How about my mic? How about my voice? Can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
it?
It's audible.
All right. All right. Okay. So I'll be honest. To everyone. I think it was only just this weekend, no? Nung na-realize ko lang kung ano yung kailangan ko kailangan ko i-discuss or i-talk dito. And I didn't really have any topics. Last week, I was asked to I was really surprised also that this is a free for all topic. So what I focus now is on data engineering. I was asked by my colleagues in Sparta to just discuss data engineering and maybe relate that to what I've been doing in my work, in my career. And what I'll be discussing here or talking about is basics of data engineering. So today there's really a formal definition of data engineering, but I'd like to talk about how I came about, maybe how I came about to work on this field, and maybe some definitions according to what I've learned and to what I experienced in the past 10 years. Sorry, 10 years. It has been 10 years since I've joined the workforce. So yeah, so that's why my title is Basics of Data Engineering according to Pam. Why Pam? Because my nickname is Pam. You can call me Pam. You may want to prefer Pam or Raymond. It's just the same thing. Okay. But usually my colleagues, my friends, usually call me Pam. Okay. And I'd like to put in some disclaimer here. Okay. What I'll be talking about is based on my experience. I'll be sharing some of my experiences. And I'd like also to note that there had been trainings that I have I was trained for, okay, before I actually have did the job. So say for instance, there was a training before I took the job for in my first job, okay. So there were actual trainings to be done first before I can actually do my job. It's the same thing with any others naman, no. Kailangan may training ka muna before you can actually do your actual job, right? And siguro this is more of the out of the ordinary talk about data engineering because this is more of somewhat an introduction or somewhat basics in my view. Siguro kasi today at this point meron ka ng sophisticated na definition on data engineering. And it talks about a very complicated stuff, which for me it's also a little bit complicated, okay? And siguro I'll be sharing some basic engineering tasks that I have done in the past and will be doing in the future. And hopefully I can be of a medium for you to explore data engineering or the data engineering career. Okay? So I have prepared an outline. I'll be talking about me first. So sige, I'll talk about yung history ng career ko para makita natin kung saan pumapasok yung data engineering tasks. Siguro ito yung way how to share about my career. I'd like also to introduce data analytics and data science first. And from there, let's see how the problems, ano yung mga usual problems from analytics and data science, and paano sinosolve ng data engineer yon. Okay? So these three concepts, data analytics, data science, data engineering, they go hand in hand. Okay? Medyo mahirapan si data scientist if there's no data engineer. Mahirapan si analyst kung wala ka namang data scientist. Mahirapan din siya without data engineer. Okay, and some things to know about data engineering, siguro all the concepts that I have learned dito. So yan, to be honest, there are a lot more things to talk about data engineering outside of this. Okay, but I would say that this can be a start for you. Okay, and some functions on data engineering. And I'll be talking siguro 3 of my previous projects and how I used data engineering concepts on those. And I'll be talking about I'll be introducing SPARTA pathways to you guys, okay, which I am part of, okay, SPARTA. Okay, so about me, I think I was already introduced earlier. So I finished BS Industrial Engineering in UP Diliman in 2011. Okay, so at that point, one of my favorite subjects, I would say, would be information systems. Okay, information systems. So information systems, it's more of building systems, technology-based, computerized systems to help everyone, to help decision makers in making decisions. So for instance, generating reports from a system or from a computerized software or from a computer application, that's information system in a nutshell. Okay, so basically when you try to put in data and then produce reports or other data that can help your managers, even you or any other people to decide on something, but it has to always to be data driven, then it's all about information systems. Okay, and maybe that's why I joined HP Philippines, okay, in 2011, 2013. My job there was about data quality. So I was very excited during those years because I used what I learned in my college years, information systems, essentially, so nagamit ko yon sa HP, and then basically in smooth yung flow nung work ko doon when I entered HP. And then next, after 2 years in HP, I transferred to my department. So kung saan ako nag-aral, doon din ako nagturo ngayon. So kaya yan yung po yung department ko. And I've been teaching since 2013. I started out as an instructor and finished MS Industrial Engineering. Also, my focus was in information systems. So basically, yung advanced version siya nung ginagawa ko nung undergraduate ako. So information systems pa rin, pero may advanced complicated stuff na. Right? And after that, I became an assistant professor. And here are my research interests. Later, I'll show you some social media mining. And yan talaga yung main na interest ko for now. And disaster management, I'm trying to relate social media mining, Facebook, Twitter, to disaster management. How can we help? How can the normal person, not really on the disaster site, be able to help, okay, for disaster management, and of course, information systems, analytics systems, and market research data. Okay? Mamaya, dadaanan din natin yung mga yan. Okay? So, let me introduce analytics first. So, I have here an opening introduction. No? So, if you're not familiar with Target, so Target similar to, it's a membership shopping, no, in the US, but it's similar to SNR, Landers, yun. SNR and Landers. So, similar yun. So, meron kang membership card, right? Meron kang membership card. So, isa sa mga kwento inside Target, which, to be honest, sabi nila, no, in history, hindi naman talaga na-prove na totoo, pero it has been used in, in introducing analytics to people, okay? It has been used in a lot of trainings, para siyang, anecdote na rin, no, naging kwento na rin siya in analytics. So, merong isang father, may isang father in the US, pumunta siya sa Target branch, nagreklamo siya sa manager. Bakit siya nagreklamo sa manager? Kasi pinadalhan sila ng coupons. Alam niyo yung coupons, 'di ba? Yung coupons para mga discount coupons. Kung meron tayong SM Advantage na coupon, every month meron kayong pwedeng gamitin, right? So si Target nagpadala ng mga pregnancy coupons, okay? Pinagdalan sila ng discount coupons for products na ginagamit ng isang pregnant woman. Okay? So pumunta yung lalaki, yung father doon sa Target branch and nagalit sa manager. Why did you send us these coupons? Hindi naman yung anak ko teenager pa lang, yung asawa ko hindi naman siya buntis, etc. So why did you bring? So galit na galit yung tatay. Okay? So after that, nagsorry na lang yung manager, and then the manager said that, sige, we'll give you just some other discounts and we're truly sorry for those. Okay? So ayan, after a while, mga 2 or 3 weeks, the manager called the person, okay, the father, and parang mangumusta lang, no, para a part of their customer service. Nangumusta siya. Sir, sorry about last time, no. So how are you naman daw, kumusta? Biglang nag-sorry yung father, sabi niya. Actually, ako yung dapat yung mag-sorry dapat sa iyo kasi I didn't know what's happening in my home. So yun pala, nauna pang malaman ni Target na buntis yung anak niya. Okay? Why? Because nalaman ni Target based doon sa membership shopping history na bumibili na ng mga products na fit to a pregnant woman at the second trimester. Correct me if I'm wrong na lang later on, no? Usually mga lotions to mga lotions na products na for a pregnant woman sa second trimester. So, ang ginawa ng Target, since nasa second trimester na, nagpadala ng mga discount coupons on products na used by pregnant women on the second trimester. Okay? So, yun yung naging strategy nila. So, nauna pang malaman ni Target before kay father. So, yun pala, yung teenager pala yung buntis. Okay? So that's one of the stories out in data science, data analytics, etc. So yan, ginamit nila yung data, ginamit nila yung transactions. Paano nila nalaman? Because dahil may data ka, right? May history ka, may service, may transactions na nakita in a particular card, no, sa membership mo, may kita na kung ano yung mga binili mo. Ano yung mga usually binibili mo in every day kung pumupunta ka man doon, etc. Okay? So yan, yung opening introduction to data science and data analytics. So let me define formally data science, okay? Hindi po ako mag-delve into this too, no? I'm just paving the way to data engineering. So data science combines multiple fields, including statistics, scientific methods, AI, data analysis to extract value from data. Remember, I said earlier, no, information systems is to help decision makers decide on decisions na dapat data-driven. Okay? So, supported by data. It's the same thing here. Kung may data science ka, it helps you extract value from data and help you decide later on. So, data science encompasses preparing data for analysis, including cleansing, aggregating, and manipulating the data to perform advanced data analysis. Okay? And it also brings new approach and perspective to data, raising new questions, and creating sophisticated analytical models to derive new insights from data. Remember, it's always insights, it's always data-based data-driven decisions from your data, which is data science produces. Okay, analytic applications and data scientists can then review the results to uncover patterns and enable business leaders to draw informed insights. So generally, say data scientists, they create the models for extracting data. Okay? So medyo may pinagkaiba naman siya sa analytics. Okay? So analytics is the utilization of organizational data to provide timely, accurate, high value, and actionable decisions. Others call this also, no, to be honest, others call this business intelligence, pero in some references, there are also subtle differences between the two. Okay? Pero sometimes, pinagsasama sila. Business intelligence and business analytics, almost the same. Okay? Pero meron pa rin talagang differences between the two. So take note, timely, accurate, high value, actionable decisions. And the goal is always to use data to aid in decision making. Okay, so if the data scientists created models, then the analysts can also use these models, or later on use some predefined na mga steps or na mga techniques in analytics para makapag-help in decision making. So usually BA is just an umbrella term that combines architectures, tools, databases, analytical tools, applications, and methodology. So take note, ang business analytics needs to have technology as its partner. So lahat po to partner, no? Lahat po to technology, sorry. Lahat po yan technologies, so kailangan may partnership with technology. And BA means different things to different people, and its objective is to enable easy access to data. So siguro nakikita niyo na, no? Kailangan ng analyst, kailangan ng data scientist ng data. Okay? So paano tayo papasok doon bilang data engineer later? BA helps transform data to information, and knowledge to decisions, and finally to action. So sige, example, yung pinaka-example natin earlier, they were able to identify na may transactions ka on a certain set of products, right? So kung hindi niyo pa alam, no, kung pumunta tayo sa grocery, siguro makikita niyo magkasama si Silka tsaka ang isang sardinas brand. Okay? Silka yung sabon, okay? Meron nakalimutan ko lang ilagay yung picture dito, pero I've seen those. Okay? I've seen those. Magkasama yung Silka and then sardinas brand. Bakit may ganong packaging? I found out siguro sa mga forums na ito pala yung usually na binibili ng mga middle class, okay? Middle class families. May kasama kang dilata and at the same time may kasamang sabon. So bakit hindi mo pagsamahin, di ba? Di ba? So, unlike bibili ka lang ng isang sabon tapos mamaya tapos nakalimutan mo yung sardinas or yung isang dilata, mas maganda kung magkasama na sila, di ba? So that helps. Yun nga lang syempre, that helps you as a consumer to buy at one time, pero it also helps the vendor increase their sales. Okay? So yun is isa sa mga analytics applications natin. And to differentiate, scientist is a specialist who applies their expertise in statistics and building machine learning models. So to be honest, more on a complicated modeling na siya. Okay? And however, this has been the trend, no, over the past 5 years, especially in the Philippines. Nag-gain na talaga siya ng traction. So marami na rin ang into this. And the data analyst leverages reporting, data analysis, and modeling techniques to solve problems and gather insight across functional domains. So say domains, iba't ibang industry. Okay, iba't ibang industry. So the difference between the two would be in skills, expertise in different programming languages, and others. Sorry, may others po dapat dyan. Okay? Usually si data scientist has the edge of, yan. Ito po yung mga advantages niya. Expertise in databases, data visualization tools, and programming languages. Pero if you try to compare to the data analyst also does the same exploratory data analysis, but performs data cleansing, discover patterns using statistical tools, and develop visualization. So, if you go back to the data analyst, gumagamit pa rin naman siya ng data analysis, di ba? So, what the data analyst is doing, ginagawa din ng data scientist, right? So, if you've watched the Suicide Squad, no? Let me just use this, let me just use this meme. There may be some, siguro may mga disagreements with this meme, but siguro personally, at this how I see it, if this is a data analyst, he says he does exactly what I do kasi he's trying to trying to recruit this person. Pero sa data scientist, sabi niya, but better. Okay? So si data scientist does everything what a data analyst can do, but better.
Better. Okay?
So bakit? Bakit ko to redefine? When I was trying to complete this presentation, medyo nahirapan ako. Bakit data engineer agad? Bakit data engineer? So I went back and started with analytics as a definition. So bakit? Because there are challenges in analytics. Okay? And this is a survey. I forgot the year. I think this was in 2020 or 2019. But this was a survey against around 2,600 na companies indulge in analytic systems. So meron ba silang mga databases, etc. So they were asked certain questions on how they perform in their analytics processes. Okay, so ngayon they were also asked what are their main challenges in analytics. So these are the top 3 na lumabas na challenges. First is data integration with multiple source systems. Paano po yun, no? Kung marami tayong data ng mga galing, marami tayong spreadsheets, marami tayong Excel na mga galing po sa iba't ibang tao, sa iba't ibang department. Meron kay accounting, meron kay sales, meron kay warehouse. Okay? So, paano natin siya i-integrate? Okay? Paano natin pagsamahin yun? Kasi pag hindi po natin siya pagsamahin, ano pong gagawin ni analyst? Kailangan niya po linisin bawat isang source, kailangan niya po tignan bawat isang source, tapos siya rin ang gagawa ng integration. Okay? And data quality, when you say data quality, malinis yung data, meaning less noise, less yung missing data, less yung erratic, less yung error sa data, less yung mga inconsistencies sa data. For instance na lang, ang birthday mo ay in the year 1997, pero ang age mo na nilagay ay 42 ka na. So that's hindi siya consistent, di ba? So that's data quality. And integration with the rest of your enterprise applications. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? With other applications sa ibang department. They may not have databases, wala man silang mga data sources, no? But meron ka pa rin applications na nag-exist on those other departments or other parts of your enterprise. So all of these 3 are all based on data, okay? May data source ka, may data integration ka, may different applications ka, okay? May different parts of your enterprise, may data quality ka, okay? So, for me, what's the solution? Sino ang solution? It's the data engineer, okay? So, let me use this definition from the SPARTA website. The data engineer builds and manages data workflows, pipelines, ETL processes, and platforms. And to be honest, that's a complicated definition na. Okay? Kasi yan na yung current definition talaga natin. Okay? And ito na yung titingnan natin na siguro industry standard of data engineer, na the data engineer kailangan mag-program ng ganito, kailangan gumawa ng ganitong sophisticated pipeline para lang magawa yung data natin, mapunta siya sa reports. Okay? So sige, dadaanan po natin yon, how do we define a data engineer and ano yung mga functions of a data engineer. But before that, meron tayong other alternative names. Others call this business intelligence. BI stands for business intelligence engineer. BI developer. Yung ibang roles naman, siguro pag naghahanap ka ng data engineering job, you can also look for a data architect position. ETL developer. Ang ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Okay, so it's a concept in data engineering where you extract your data, you transform your data, and then you load your data into your database. Okay, and others naman, DW engineer. DW stands for data warehouse engineer. Okay, meron kasi tayong version ng mga database na masyado siyang malaki and in a different design. Ang tawag po doon ay data warehouse. Kaya po DW. And other alternative name is data science software engineer. Okay, so let's define what is data engineering. Okay? So data engineering is a set of operations. Take note, data engineering po, no, hindi po ito yung tao talaga. It's a set of operations aimed at creating interfaces and mechanisms for the flow and access of information. Take note po, ito po yung keywords natin here. Flow and access of information. Okay? May flow po and may access. It takes dedicated specialists to maintain data so that it remains available and usable by others. Okay? Ang example po niyan, if you're trying to book a flight, no? Book ka ng flight sa Cebu Pacific or sa PAL. Ano yung available na data sa atin as consumers? Sa atin as people who would like to book flights? Yung availability ng flights, di ba? Kung kailan, saan mga galing, saan pupunta. And kung ilan pa yung seats available, kung meron pa. And don't forget kung magkano.
Kung magkano,
diba?
yes.
Yeah, kung
Seat
magkano.
sale.
Pinaka-importante kung magkano yung flight na kukunin natin. So, yung data na yun lang available sa atin bilang consumers. However, syempre, behind their websites, they have their big databases, no, that maintains a lot more data. Okay? So, one of the tasks siguro is to maintain access to those information and to secure access. Syempre, security is also part. Remember, meron tayong data privacy ngayon. So, hindi din pwede tayo malileak ng data, etc. Okay? Data engineers set up and operate the organization's data infrastructure, preparing it for further analysis by data analysts and scientists. To be honest, hindi lang siya for analysts and scientists. Yung example ko, it's also available for other people na hindi naman, let's say, consumers lang. Okay? For employees lang. Pwede rin yun. Hindi naman gagamitin yung data. Okay? So, mamaya, meron akong simplified version of this. Pakita ko na lang. But, meron po tayong main roles of data engineers. There are 3 categorizations or categories ng isang data engineer. They call them generalists, pipeline-centric, and database-centric. So, what are generalists? So, for me, I think I am more of a generalist now. Dati kasi nasa database-centric ako. Yung una kong trabaho, nasa database-centric ako. So, generalists are typically found in smaller teams or in small companies. Okay? In this setting, data engineers wear many hats as one of the few data-focused people in the company. So, possible na data engineer ka, at the same time, pwede ka rin mag-generate na mag-clean ng data, mag-migrate ng data. Hindi lang ikaw yung magde-design ng data pipeline mo, no, ng workflow mo. Hindi lang ikaw. Hindi lang 'yun ang trabaho mo, pati yung other task na pwedeng gawin ng ibang tao, pwede mo rin siyang gawin. Okay? And journalists are often responsible for every step of the data process, from managing data to analyzing it, meaning from your source up to generating reports. Mamaya, I have a simple example for that. So a good role for anyone looking to transition from data science to data engineering, since smaller businesses won't need to worry as much about data engineering for scale. Ibig sabihin, if we're trying to scale it up, pag mas malaki na yung company natin, of course, mas malaking data pipeline ang kailangan natin. Okay? For pipeline-centric, often found in mid-sized companies, pipeline-centric data engineers work alongside data scientists to help make use of the data they collect. So, take note po, no, meron po tayo ditong word na data scientist. Kasi, syempre, binibigay ni data engineer yung data para kay data scientist. Para sa data scientist, hindi na siya mahirapan. Yun sana yung ideal natin. But to be honest, may mga data scientists din tayo na, syempre, they don't have their own data engineers or they don't work on companies na may data engineers. So, they do the tasks of a data engineer. That also happens, okay? Pipeline-centric data engineers need in-depth knowledge of distributed systems and computer science. Okay. So, yun nga lang, no? Medyo complicated siya if you're looking for this path, okay? But if you're trying to start out, a generalist can do. Okay? And yan pa, this should be database-centric. Mali po yung title natin in this slide. But in larger organizations where managing the flow of data is full-time job, data engineers focus on analytics databases. And this was actually my first job back in 2011. Hindi ako part talaga ng creating the pipeline, okay? but more of may part lang ng pipeline which is I am responsible for. Okay? So database centric data engineers work with data warehouses across multiple databases and are responsible for developing data schemas. Yeah. Okay, so may other roles pa, no? Baka lang gusto nyo hanapin yon. Yung iba dito ay meron tayong data architect, database administrator. Okay, so to simply put, okay, alam ko yung iba dito possible na nagugulan din kasi syempre nung ako rin, no, trying to identify the definition or trying to determine the definition, medyo mahirap talaga. And it has only been recent years na siguro na standardize natin yung definition ng isang data engineer. Kasi if you're trying to look for a data engineering job in Job Street, for instance, or LinkedIn, bihira mo mahanap yung term na data engineer. Maraming ibang roles yun eh, may ibang job positions. So ganun yung ano natin, look into into the industry. Okay? So simply put, ganito yung ginagawa ng data engineer. Oops, sorry. Ano to? Complicated to. So let me put it simply in a simpler version. So meron tayong sources, meron tayong process, meron tayong output. So basically, ang data engineer is responsible for your data from your sources. So kung meron ka sa grocery, no, manggagaling sa grocery, yung isang transaction ng isang product, if you are trying to buy one product from a grocery, paano natin siya how are we going to put a structure or a framework such that yung transactions natin ma-convert into usable data, into reports, into analysis. Okay? So, data engineers ang bahala doon. Paano natin makuha from that source papunta into this version? Or in a manufacturing setting, pag meron tayong mina-manufacture na product, let's say batteries, meron tayong data on those, ilan yung manufacture in a day, ilan yung quota natin in a day, ilan yung nagawa natin kapag may overtime, di ba? Pag nag-overtime sa manufacturing, let's say 2-hour overtime, may dagdag yun na output, di ba? So kung ilan yung output natin, paano natin yun ma-manage yung data na yun para ma-generate yung ganitong chart, okay? So si data engineer din yon. And what if bumili tayo sa isang fast food restaurant, bumili tayo ng one-piece chicken or bucket ng chicken, and paano natin siya ma-generate into such reports that looks like this. And in a call center, pwede rin yung mga calls natin. Siyempre, actually, call center medyo advanced sila in terms of storing data kasi lahat sila may dashboard na. Okay, may dashboard na sila. So, of course, meron kang data na na-generate doon. Sino yung mga call center agents na may mga maraming nag-i-rate na clients or maraming calls na na-receive, etc. Siya rin yung maraming drop calls, etc. And the data engineer is responsible for managing that data to produce reports such as this. Okay? Even the simplest thing, no? Kung meron kang data na galing sa Excel and you're trying to produce a report, that can be considered a data engineering task. Of course, sobrang simple lang nun. Okay? Sobrang simple nun, pero the concept is there. Siguro the analogy is there. Okay? So doon nanggagaling yan. Okay, so we just want our data sources, kung saan nanggagaling yung data natin, to be generated to reports or to be used for analysis, to be used for modeling ng analysts natin or ng data scientists natin. Yan. So yun yung flow ng data engineering pipeline natin. Okay? So yun ang gusto natin gawin as a data engineer. From source to end users. Okay? Data. It's all about data. Yan. Siguro so yun na yung pinakasimple na definition na magagawa ko for a data engineer. And after this, siguro I'll be talking some of the concepts. Of course, yung mga, let's talk about the source. Ang data sources natin, some of these data sources can be in flat files. You have your CSV files, Excel files, Word files, documents. Yes, hindi lang table format ng mga data ang minamanage ng isang data engineer. Pwede rin text data, pwede rin social media data, pwede rin documents data, mga journals, mga proceedings, etc., mga emails, yun, pwede rin yan. And data source can also be operations management software applications like ERP, CRM, customer relation management, barcode system for our from our grocery stores. Kung may barcode ka, then meron ka ng technically may system ka to collect your data, right? And for IoT devices, IoT stands for Internet of Things. So ito yung medyo advanced na version ng devices natin that collects data. So usually they call this sensors. Okay? Sensors for collecting data like antenna and microcontroller. Okay? Example siguro nitong pagdating po sa electricity, siguro may nagko-collect ng consumption natin, di ba? Ng consumption ang electricity natin. Then nandun yung nandun yung IoT. Pero kailangan i-connect yun sa natin, sa databases natin. Kasi kung nagko-collect ka lang pero manual pa rin yung reading, then that's not really an IoT device. Okay? Okay, so that's our data sources. And to be honest, there are a lot more data sources. Okay? Siguro, na-mention ko lang dito yung mga sobrang importante and most common. Okay, we also have data processing kasi part ng data engineering, kailangan alam mo kung paano i-process yung data from your source. And let's be honest, to me, I haven't seen a scenario or an industry or a business for me, as at least in my personal experience, na 100% clean ang data. Okay? It's always dirty. At least siguro mga 1% ng data mo, it's always dirty. Pero usually hindi yun nangyayari. Madaming sources natin ng data na laging madumi. Okay? When you say dirty, may incomplete na data, let's say lacking values, similar to this one, no? Meron kang lacking values here. Yan yung mga asterisk natin, mga lacking values yan. Noisy. Yung noisy data natin, let's say, for instance, ito, meron tayong 3 employees. Let's say there's an employee record table. Pero this is a salary, meron kang last name, and then may salary ka. Pero yung isang salary ng isang employee natin is -10. How come it happened? Okay? So, yan yung mga hindi natin. Yan yung mga sa mga noisy data. And inconsistent data, I've already introduced this. Birthday mo is in 1997, pero age mo today is 42. Okay? Right? So, bakit may dirty data? Siguro, it's also our task as data engineers na kailangan i-accept na may dirty data talaga. For instance, it may come from not applicable data values during the time of collection. So kung nag-collect ka ng data 10 years ago, hindi pala yung kailangan 10 years ago, pero ngayon kailangan mo na, then that's already dirty in that sense, right? Noisy data may come from faulty data collection instruments. Paano pa may problematic tayo na sensors or ng mga devices or barcode, okay? Inconsistent data may come from different data sources. For instance, sa company natin, meron tayong accounting department and then meron din tayong sales department. Okay? Now, si accounting, meron siyang in-store na customers data. Tapos si sales department, meron din siyang in-store na sales data. Ngayon, iba yung pag-collect nila on the same customer. They were able to collect data pero iba yung nakuha nilang birth date. So, di ba, inconsistent na yon kasi magkaibang data source pero isang same customer lang ang pinag-collectan nila. Then that's also dirty. But in that sense, it's inconsistent. Can also have duplicate records. This usually happens in manual systems and sometimes human hardware and software problems. Let's be honest, siguro yung mga malaking source ng errors natin would be coming from human error. Okay? And I just have to take note of this. If there's no quality data, then there's no quality mining results. Ibig sabihin, hindi natin ma-generate ng maayos ang data natin, data analysis natin, results from our models. So this means that quality decisions must be based on quality data. So if I have bad quality data, I will also have bad quality decisions. Okay? So you have to take note of this thought. Data extraction, cleaning, and transformation is the majority of the work of a data engineer. Okay, so ano yung mga yon? So, ayan, siguro nasabi ko na rin kanina yung data integration. You want to combine data from multiple sources, from the accounting, from the sales, from the manufacturing department. Gusto mo siya i-combine. Data transformations, let's say smoothing. Kung meron tayong data na zigzag, no? Mukha siyang zigzag dito. Ini-smooth out lang natin. That's already transformation. And data cleaning. Pwede tayong mag-ignore ng records kapag madumi ang data. Let's say, eto, no? Let's go back here. kung marami siyang blanco dito, pwede natin siya i-ignore na lang. Pero ano yan, may trade-off din yan. Okay? And you want to fill in or you might want also to data imputate. Ang data imputation, ano siya, parang you might want to introduce a new value, let's say an unknown value, or you can consider not applicable as a new value. Pwede rin yun. Okay, part of data cleaning din yun. But there are also, just to note, no, there are other techniques here. Okay. And of course, data accessibility makes data accessible and available to the right user at the right time and at the right place. Okay. Paano natin ibibigay yung data sa mga employees lang? How do we give access data na kailangan lang ng mga consumers, ng mga customers natin, or ng mga analysts natin? Okay, so kailangan iniisip din natin yon. Part din siya ng ano natin, part din siya ng task natin. Okay? And not really on the development side, no, or on the analyst side. Usually it helps when a data engineer knows how to use the following tools. Specifically data visualization tools like Tableau, Excel, Power BI, R&R Studio, and Python. Okay? Siguro ito yung five na tools that I have been using ever since I've been into analytics, and there are a lot more, no? Meron pa po, marami pong iba. And let's not erase MS Excel. So sa MS Excel ay marami pa rin pong uses yan. Wag po ninyong yan. Wag niyo pong mamalitin si MS Excel. Okay? And you might also want to learn data management tools like Talend, Oracle Data Management Suite, SAP Data Management, custom-based software. So yan, marami pong ganyan. What else? Of course, databases. Yung mga database natin, hindi lang naman siya limited to the commonly known databases like Postgres SQL, MySQL, SQLite, MySQL Server. Meron din po tayo mga NoSQL databases. So yan, kailangan din natin yung daanan, yung mga databases. Okay? Siguro unahin ko na, no, one of the frequently asked question, ano ba yung uunahin mong aralin for a data engineering job? For me, no, personally, kasi there could be other answers. Syempre, iba yung path ng bawat career ng isang tao, right? So, possible na iba yung sinimulan nila. But for me, I would start at SQL. Okay? Kung meron akong knowledge on Excel, I can start using SQL na, learning SQL. Pero kung wala pa, I would start Excel. Okay? For me, that's the most basic. Okay? Para may experience with data before we actually do data engineering. Okay? And what else? Other concepts in data engineering, you have to take note of the following. At least in my experience, kailangan alam mo metadata. So metadata is actually data about data. I consider them as characteristics of the data. Transaction data, real world transaction data. So how are you going to represent yung isang transaction sa real world? Let's say nagpabunot ka ng ngipin sa dentist, okay? Nagpa-check up ka sa doktor, okay? Bumili ka ng groceries. How are you going to design those transactions, real world transactions, into a data view, di ba? Parang ganun. And then you also have to take note of master data. These are your reference or master list data. Let's say, mga listahan yan ng mga countries, listahan ng mga employees, listahan yan ng mga categories, product categories, listahan ng mga products, listahan ng mga customers. So those can be considered as your master data. Okay? So yan, just siguro may examples ko lang ito on metadata. Ang metadata natin, ito na lang po. This is the set of properties ng presentation file ko. So, I have my presentation file. Yung title natin, di ba, ay Basics of Data Engineering. And yung size niya ay 3 MB. Ang slides, 51 yan dati. Ngayon, 61 na yan. There are no hidden slides. Title niya is a PowerPoint presentation. Author is me. Last modified by me. So, these are your characteristics about my file. Okay? So, it's data about the data. So, kung ito yung metadata ko, ano naman yung data ng presentation file ko. Of course, it's the content. It's what you see now is the data. Diba? So, yung data natin is the content that you see in my presentation file, and the metadata corresponds to these properties of my file. Okay? Yeah, so you may want to look back here. Ito yung other types ng metadata natin. Kung meron tayong table sa isang spreadsheet sa MS Excel, yung mga columns natin are yung mga column names natin, they can be considered as attributes or metadata natin. And syempre yung data natin, yun yung values ng mga columns na yan. So, transactions natin, ito, example lang po ito, no? Ito na lang. Ang sales natin for this date, noong April 13, 2008 is $498. Sailing ang category, region ay North, and the employee is Kurt. So, this is one row that represents one transaction in the real world, right? So, you need to know those things. How are you going to design a real world transaction into a data, into a row, right? So, yun yung kailangan may skill set tayo as a data engineer. Okay? And master data can be the following: product, customer, location, and supplier. Okay? So, yun yung mga functions. Siguro I've defined the functions. I've defined what a data engineer is and data engineering is. Some concepts of data engineering. So, where can you learn data engineering? Okay, so yun yung next question natin. So one of the platforms that you can use is in SPARTA. Okay, so yes, sorry, nagpa-plug in ako ng SPARTA natin dito. In SPARTA, there are 6 learning pathways. So if you want to be a data scientist, a data analyst, analytics manager, data steward, and data associate, and data engineer, all of these 6 are available in SPARTA already. Okay, so lahat yan, alam ko, complete na po yan lahat. Take note po, when I define data scientist kanina, parang siya yung pinakamagaling, right? Parang siya yung pinakamagaling. And kita naman po dito, no, sa SPARTA, there are 16 subjects or 16 courses available for a data scientist. And ano po yung next na pinakamarami? Okay? Yung next po na pinakamarami ay si data engineer. Okay, so madami po tayong kailangan aralin as a data engineer. So meron tayong 14 courses, and hindi ko na po ito iisa-isahin, no, yung mga technical skills of a data engineer, pero generally ito yung mga skills na kailangan mo as a data engineer, pero hindi naman kailangan lahat alam mo at one point at the earliest, no? Kailangan alam mo na to lahat. No. You can start in data modeling, and then SQL, and then later on you can move into data warehousing, and then later on, machine learning, and then later on, data APIs, etc. Okay? So, yun nga lang, kailangan may training talaga ito. Okay? Hindi siya matutunan on the job. Okay? Kailangan may idea na tayo before we take on the job. Okay? Kailangan may training talaga. Okay? So, when I did my first job as a data engineer, hindi talaga data engineer yung pangalan ng job ko. It's more of a data quality analyst. So I made sure that the reports data that our clients were seeing are consistent with the database data sa source. So I generated SQL queries, investigated data pipelines. I also investigated where did something go wrong. Bakit? Sabi ni client, meron akong 100 units na nabenta kahapon. Pero bakit sa database natin, bakit sa report natin, 98 lang na units? So, agad titingnan ko yan. Okay? So, for the whole 8 hours of my job siguro, nung bago pala ako, nahirapan ako noon. So, paano hanapin yon? So, yan. That's one of the tasks that you can do. Pero ano to, no? You're just part of the pipeline. You're not creating the pipeline, which is also part of a data engineering job. Okay? So, let me go lower pa po, no? Sa isang data engineering job. Let's take more on the tasks of a data engineer. So, yung mga tasks, ang ginawa ko na lang po dito is that, let me just talk about 3 projects that I have engaged in the past 8 years. So, first is utility consumer data, consumer survey data, so survey yan. And then, I've also worked with milk data, and I've also worked with human resource data. So, when you say utility consumer data, we're talking about electricity, gas, cable, telephone data. So, hindi ko na po sasabihin kung anong utility kasi pag sinabi ko po, mahuhulaan nyo na kung ano yung company na yun. Right? So, yung set of tasks na ginawa ko dito were na applicable siguro or related to data engineering is sorry, ito muna yung part nung survey. Meron tayong mga set of questions for consumers, and then the consumers or the respondents answers vary from multiple choices. So meron tayong, syempre nagko-collect tayo ng data, marami tayong enumerators dito, right? So may enumerators ka. Can it be a call? Pwede rin face-to-face enumeration. So ang Likert scale natin, meron tayong mga Likert scale data and then open-ended questions. So paano natin yun what is the solution in providing a way to have better analysis on the consumer survey data? Of course, what we can do is encode everything in Excel, right? Pwedeng ganon, di ba? Pero what if you're working with ilang rows po ba yan? What if we're working with 100,000 rows of data? Okay?
Wow.
Medyo mahirapan na si Excel. Okay? Medyo mahirapan na si Excel. Okay. So, yan. Siguro, we generated statistics like how many are male and female, yung usual na output ng isang survey, right? Generated average family income, yung mga nag-provide lang. Take note, no? Noisy data also happens here in a survey. Possible na ayaw ibigay ng family yung income nila, di ba? Kasi that's sensitive. So in that sense, even if I have 100,000 rows, pero meron doon 50,000 na ayaw magbigay ng family income, then that's already dirty data. So bilang data engineer, you should have a way to how to augment that or how to go around that. Or si analyst ang bahala doon. 'Di ba? Pwedeng si analyst naman. We also generated or asked for utility cost per month, magkano yung gas nila per month, and yung trabaho ko bilang data engineer would be data cleaning and on the super dirty data. To be honest, dirty ang data na na-collect dahil syempre iba-iba yung sagot ng mga respondents natin. And sorry, hindi ko lang din nalagay dito. I also designed how the data will be encoded to a database and how the database can generate reports. So yun yung, to be honest, the data engineering definition ng trabaho, right? Okay, and I also work with milk data. Hindi ko lang sabihin kung anong gatas to. So the main task was to predict monthly sales data. Gusto daw nila ma-predict kung ilan yung mabebenta nila in December or in January. Okay?
The projection.
Yeah, projections nga. And siguro yung problem nandito, maganda yung data nila, to be honest. Not too dirty, pero I still need to do some transformations, okay? Para magamit ko siya sa analysis. Now, in that specific project, I worked as the analyst. I also work as the data engineer. So, ano yung ibig sabihin nun? Ako na yung nag-analyze, ako rin yung nag-transform ng data ko para magamit ko for my analysis. Okay? So, yan. And in this case, I used a regression model to predict. Okay? Okay. And the third one is human resource data. So, this is more, siguro sobrang related na siya dun sa standard definition ng data engineering natin. I designed the database and then how the processes, no? And how am I going to load the data to my databases and of course, maintain and build the actual database. So yun po yung data storage natin. And of course, how to generate the reports. So ngayon parang I've been asked multiple times, can you generate this report? I just perform some queries from here, data storage, and then makukuha na natin yung reports na yun. So yun ang ginagawa ko ngayon in a project. So projects lang po ito, no? Kasi as a faculty, syempre, yung isa kong trabaho po ay syempre magturo, di ba? So parang side projects lang po ito. Yan. So yan, let me just plug in ipa-plug ko lang po yung SPARTA, okay? So SPARTA stands for Smarter Philippines through Data Analytics, R&D, and Training and Adoption. So it was officially launched in 2020, and it's a project that aims to establish the necessary online education research and development mechanisms, and infrastructure to enable the industry of data science and analytics and foster smart governance practices. This is a project by DOST, and meron silang goal to achieve 30,000 scholars or learners, or 30,000 na Filipino, syempre. So sa Philippines na naman to. And alam ko hindi pa complete yung 30,000 kasi meron tayong delay on the completion of the courses dahil nga sa pandemic. So medyo may delay yon. So yan. Pero alam ko ngayon complete na po yung lahat ng courses natin sa lahat po ng pathways natin. Yan. And marami tayong mga competencies of a data engineer. Ito po yung mga nililista ko po, no? Ito po yung mga competencies niya. You have operation analytics, computing, visualization, statistical techniques, domain knowledge, and ito na may mga courses na iti-take ng isang data engineer. Ito po yung 14 courses. Okay? So yan, pansin niyo po, no, may Excel, may Python, may SQL, what else? May dashboarding, and may visualization, may SQL and Python for data engineering mismo, and may advanced data engineering. Actually, this one, ito advanced data engineering is designing data warehouses. This is actually one of my courses in SPARTA. And meron din tayong data science and machine learning using Python. And if you want to know more about SPARTA, ito yung mga websites natin. So, meron tayong SPARTA website, and then yung courses can be accessible through course bank. Syempre, through enrollment lang tayo makakaroon ng access to those. And meron tayong mga pathways. Yung pinakita ko kanina, makikita nyo in this site. And if you want to know more about SPARTA, ito lang yung FAQs ng website. What else? Walang pwedeng ma-download na course dito, so kailangan nyo mag-enroll. Unlike other websites, pwede siguro ma-download. Not here. Okay? Okay. So, sige. Unahin ko na siguro yung mga alam kong tinatanong, how can I start to become a data engineer? Yan siguro yung una kong sinabi kanina, no? You need to be involved with a lot of data. Kahit Excel lang yan, start with that. And then move from Excel, and then with analysis, and then later on, SQL. Pwede naman ganun ang path natin. Okay? What should be the first thing that a data engineer should learn? I've already mentioned this earlier. Excel kung hindi pa marunong mag-Excel. Then, SQL kung marunong ka na mag-Excel. Okay? Pero again, there could be any other ways to start. This is based on my experience kung saan talaga ako nag-start on a data engineering role. And what should I do to enhance my data engineering skills? SPARTA. So, yun yung pina-plug ko yung SPARTA. So, syempre, marami tayong iba't ibang sources sa internet. Pero syempre, natin yung sariling atin. Ang SPARTA ay Philippine-based siya. Okay? And as a final example, I have actually developed a system that would generate reports on social media during earthquakes. So, di ba pag may lindol, karamihan sa atin, lumindol ba? Or I'm the first one, lumindol. Anong magnitude ba yun? So lahat sa atin nagtitweet, yung iba sa atin nagfe-Facebook. So lahat goes to social media pag naglindol, di ba? Or yung ibang tanong natin, naramdaman nyo ba yun? Di ba? Parang mga ganun. So lahat yun. So why not make a system that could capture those posts, those tweets? Okay. So essentially, I developed this one on the week of June 22 to June 29. So just 1 week. Meron tayong tweets lang po ito. Hindi po ito galing sa Facebook. Mga tweets po natin na galing sa hashtag na EarthquakePH. Meron din tayong tweets na galing sa LindolPH. And meron din tayong tweets na galing sa FOPSCo DOST. So itong FOPSCo DOST kasi, syempre nagpo-post lagi si FOPSCo na Twitter account. Yung official na FOPSCo, di ba? So, mapapansin natin yung trend dito kung kailan nagkakaroon ng earthquake. Usually dito, kung meron kang maraming earthquake PH, possible na magkaroon ng earthquake yan. But it has to be validated, syempre. Pero mapapansin nyo dito, bakit ang daming FOPSCo dito pero wala ka naman mga green? Kasi yung green, it comes from the normal people who tweets. Yung yellow comes from the actual Twitter account of FOPSCo, di ba? Pero bakit pansin nyo bakit dito? Yung pala, ang nangyari dito, walang earthquake na nangyari within that day, pero may dumaan na ano nga ba yun? Parang yung sa Taal ata to, nagkaroon ulit ng smoke. So, syempre yung updates na nagaling din sa FOPSCo, so na-capture to. Pero wala tayong earthquake during that time. Kasi wala naman nag-tweet. Yan. Na-verify ko na rin yun during that time period. Wala naman palang earthquake na malakas. Yan. So, isipin nyo, as a data engineer, how are you going to collect all those data from social media and put it here? So, ito yung example nun. Ito yung ginawa kong table from a database. So, I'm actually collecting those publicly available na data and store ko siya in a database. And ganito yung itsura niya. This is one column and ito yung maitsura ng data natin in my database. Sorry, hindi ko na po ipapakita lahat ng metadata niyan kasi ano na yan. May intellectual property na po yan. Pero this is how the data looks like before it becomes this one. So, yan. If you have questions, you can just send me an email to these two email, pwedeng either, and i-plug ko na rin, no? If you're looking for an academic version naman, hindi siya sa online version, pwede tayo mag-enroll sa UP. Meron kami ino-offer na MNIE and MSIE, which has Analytic Systems Engineering track. So, meron din yung data engineering doon. And of course, my courses in SPARTA, na-mention ko na earlier, yung Advanced Data Engineering, and I also have a course called Statistical Analysis using SQL and Python. Okay, so that's it.
All right. Thank you for that great introduction and presentation, Sir Raymond. So, as you can see, we have a lot of viewers that is actually watching us right now. And with that, may I call Ate Avik. Hi, magandang gabi, Ate Avik.
Hello, Dennis. Good evening.
Okay, go Ate Avik. Can we greet those live viewers?
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Ray. Should I call you Sir Ray? Napakaganda ng presentation mo tonight. Kaya sigurado ako na, Professor Ray, sigurado ako na maraming mga natutunan yung mga watchers natin tonight. Okay? Yes, definitely. I'm sure lahat ng mga questions nila ay nasagot. Okay? Oh, let me say hi to all our Facebook watchers or viewers right now. Isa-isayin ko muna sila. Ito nakita ko sila si Arturo Junior, Hipolito, Francis Avedra, Deborah Linato, Remo, Raquel, Sarah Castro, Maria Lourdes Villacorte, Anilda Milan. Ang dami nila, sir, mga fans mo. Melvin Babol Maed, Nick Cordero, Gladys Kate, Ida Dimapilis. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for watching. Shine Resma, Maynard, Iksog Pagia, Lorena Quaresma, Chav, Viralia, Teki, Danica Jem, Dominguez Piñones, Jaye, Jan Lloyd, Delis Reyes, mukhang magtatayo tayo ng fans club dito, sir. Sa haba na.
Ang dami.
Okay.
Thank you for
Claire
watching.
Mendoza, Elena Asuncion, thank you so much for watching. Talaga interesado sila sa topic nyo tonight.
Sa topic,
Chen Avila, Kian P. Soltea, Ed Raimundo, Casey Rose Di Castro, Ray Solis Ginosa, Paul
Students mo,
Nico
sir.
Siruno. Dami. Marisa Oco, Samantha Malyari, Maika Manoksok, Francis Abetra, Brian Jeremy, Ronel Buhay, ang dami, Roseanne, AG, Ving, Suzy Romina, A. Southeast Anthony, Chian Zulu. I hope na nabanggit ko kayong lahat. Walang magtatampo.
Okay, thank you very much, Ate Avik. But of course, we are going to entertain some of the questions. Would that be okay, Sir Ray? May mga students po tayo dito. Sir Ray, okay. Mukhang student ito, sir. But with that, we are going to entertain some of your questions. If you do have questions, kindly type input in your questions natin sa chat box, especially to our live viewers. Ang dami nila. So with that, let me start from, go ahead, Miss Sydney, go ahead kung meron kang na-collect dyan na question. Let me start from you.
Yes, sir. Good evening again po, Sir Raymond. From our live audience, Miss Deborah Lenato Cremo. Ang tanong po niya is, what are the technical competencies necessary to go into the data engineering field?
Okay. Actually, hindi ko na siya in-explain lahat, no? Pero dun sa slides
May,
ko,
yeah.
I actually listed them down, everything yung technical skills. Ito, yan.
Yeah.
So you have your data modeling, should know how, ito yung, for me, one of the skills na medyo kailangan inherent siya for a data engineer because you need to know how to model your real world elements, di ba? Meron kang customers, meron kang employees, meron kang mga purchases, may procurement ka, may supplies ka, di ba? How are you going to represent those in a data model? So, yan yung very first one that a data engineer should know. That's why, alam ko meron tayong entity relationship diagramming, database modeling, etc. And SQL, or pwede rin NoSQL kung hindi naman kailangan SQL. Siguro if you're trying to learn, later on, you start with SQL muna, and then pag alam na natin yung SQL, you can move into NoSQL. Kasi sometimes, it helps, no? What you learn from SQL also helps to learn NoSQL. And data warehousing solutions, this is more on advanced, so that's why, for me, you can start with this. Pero if you're complete package, no? Lahat ng mga to. Okay, ito mga to. And it does not it helps, no, syempre yung programming natin. Kailangan may programming skills din tayo. And yung usual na programming language ngayon is Python and R pagdating sa data engineering, but of course, hindi natin kakalimutan yung mga usual na ginagamit for application programming like Java, PHP, etc. Kasi they're also capable of performing data engineering tasks. But to be honest, I am more of the Python, sa Python ako and sa R. Yeah.
All right.
Yan. I think ito yun. So,
Great, sir.
marami pang skills. Yung iba naman, no, in a data, meron din mga data engineering roles na tool specific. Pag nagtrabaho sa isang company, ito lang yung tool sa kanila, so yun lang yung expertise nila. Okay lang din yun, no problem yun. Kasi yan yung work mo, okay, as a data engineer for that company. So wala rin problem din yun.
Okay, so we have here some of the core competencies pagdating sa ating data science. But then, sir, follow-up question, or let's say more on personal matters. Sige, sir.
Okay.
Would that be okay po? Okay. What made you decide to choose the data engineering na course or that particular field? More on personal question siya. Go ahead, sir.
Actually, hindi ko siya pinili. More on pinili niya ako. De, joke lang.
Meant to be.
Tama, meant to be. Actually, it started with my undergraduate course. Yung course ko kasi industrial engineering. So it's more of solving problems for systems. Pero one of the fields in industrial engineering is information systems. Ngayon, nung kinukuha na namin ng mga kaklase ko, mga barkada ko, mga groupmates ko, yung subject na yun, no? Nagulat ako sa mga barkada ko, hindi na nagigets. Ako nagigets ko yung tinuturo ng those subjects. Medyo nahihirapan sila, parang ganun. Hanggang sa, pumasok ako sa HP, kung ano natutunan ko, yun din yung trabaho ko. So, yan, hanggang sa, nagpunta ako sa Masters, Information Systems pa rin. So, yun ang nangyari. And masaya naman ako sa data. Yun nga lang, I'm not going to say na I'm perfect in terms of being a data engineer. Marami pa rin syempreng mistakes along the way. Even now, meron pa rin mga mali. Then by doing those mistakes, you can learn from them. Matutunan mo rin how to solve those in a data engineering way.
Great. Thank you, Sir Ray. Okay, because that question came from Raquel Sara Castro. She is actually watching us right now sa FB Live. Okay. Sabi niya, sana all pinipili. Humuhugot ka pa, Mr. Roxa. But anyway, a follow-up question from our viewers. Sabi niya po, question po, sir. For a certain predictive tool, especially for BPO industry, can we use regression analysis for all metrics for us to predict month or weeks to date of the results? So, example po yung mga service level. So, mukhang BPO industry. Go ahead.
I forgot kung available ba siya ngayon. kung yung service level kasi, I forgot kung naka-percentage siya or by points. Kasi usually, pag performance metrics, kung naka-percentage level siya, mahirap siya gamitan ng linear regression. Kasi usually, pag linear regression, kung meron kang trend, akyat, what happens? Pwede sumobra siya sa 100%. Or pag bababa, pwede siya sumobra sa 0%. So, na negative. So, based on my experience, ang better solution would be using a logistic regression. Hindi siya linear, so it's a logistic regression. It tries to predict kung ano yung magiging service level mo in the next period. Yeah.
Great. Because that question,
time series if you want, pero yun nga, problem with time series, problem with regression, possible na sumobra siya sa 100%. Siyempre, wala naman tayo performance na 101%, di ba? In terms of performance. Well, siyempre, meron yon pagdating sa anime, di ba? Mga ganun. Okay. Yun yung pero marami pa ibang tools siguro in my experience yun yung pinaka-common, logistic regression.
Okay, so I hope your question was being answered because that question came from Jesse Panerio. Hi, magandang gabi, sir. Thank you for that question. And of course, for some of your FB Live viewers they are currently taking your course. Hi, magandang gabi, sir. Actually, ang dami yung fans. Ang dami yung fans, sir. Okay, sir. So we have 2 questions left. What's the best thing that happened to you as an data engineer?
Ang hirap sagutin yan.
Okay, sir. Go ahead lang, sir. Take your time. Go for it.
Siguro yung the best thing that happened to me as a data engineer. Sige, gano'n lang. So, ngayon kasi yung trend natin is more of analytics, data science. Medyo nung nagpunta ako sa HP, yung technology na ginagamit namin ngayon, tinuturo pa rin siya ngayon. So, ano yung point ko? Ano yung magandang nangyari nung napasok yung role? It opened up to many opportunities. Yan. Data engineering role opened up to this talk. Yan. So, yun yung, siguro, yan sa mga, I find joy, sa pag-share siguro ng knowledge, okay? Siguro, syempre, I try to anonymize lang yung mga hindi pwedeng i-share, pero pwede ko naman i-share yung mga kaya i-share. Okay, yun ang nangyayari. And meron kaming course sa UP or sa National Engineering Center, if you've heard. Meron isang course doon na data engineering, and sobrang saya kong tinuturo yun kasi nanggaling siya sa experience ko. Siguro yun yung masayang nangyari sa akin dahil sa data engineering role. Yeah. More opportunities. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, sir, for answering that question. So, doon sa mga FB Live viewers na marami pang questions, babalikan po yan ni sir, sagutan po yan lahat-lahat. But anyway, usually hanggang lang po talaga tayo, hanggang 8 but 10, hanggang 7 rather. So nag-overtime na po tayo kasi nga ang dami talaga nanonood and they are actually having a great intensity of communication and the intensity ng ating conversation as well. But anyway, last question, sir. What advice you can give to those aspirants, data engineers or scientists or analysts? Go ahead, sir. Last parting words.
It may sound cliche, pero always have the eagerness to learn. Okay? Even me, one of the tools that I have used recently, last year ko lang siya inaral. Pero nagamit ko na siya sa work or sa isang project. Okay? So, I've been and to be honest, if you are trying to get a career in a data analyst, data engineering, mapupunta ka sa environment eh. Kahit sa Facebook lang, sumali ka lang ng Facebook groups. Mapupunta ka doon sa environment na maraming ganito yung passion, ganito yung ginagawa, ganito yung nagko-code, etc., nag-a-analyze, etc. And ginagawa ko ngayon, what I do is, pag may nakikita akong isang kakilala ko from an experience with data science or data engineering or data analyst, tapos sabi niya, meron siyang tinitake na course, I ask him or her, recently lang training siya sa isang sa AWS. So I asked him, ano ba yung course na yan? So para mag-enroll din ako. So yun yung isa sa mga advice ko siguro is always try to learn. Hindi naman, lalo na technology, it's always forever evolving. So you also need to evolve. Meron din akong mga kakilala na programmer sila sa isang company, pero they are working on the side, on a personal passion, on data analyst, data scientist, machine learning, but they've learned it outside of their jobs. Okay, so you have, yun nga lang, syempre, you need to, ito yung siguro yung last na advice, you need to put in time. Okay? Hindi lang effort, hindi lang eagerness to learn. You also need time to learn. Sobrang dami ng resources sa internet. Okay? Isa lang ang SPARTA, to be honest. Isa lang siya. Marami pang sources. So, yun. Learn as much as you can. Okay? And it's not too late, to be honest. It's not too late kung nasa later years na tayo. Wala pong problema yan. Okay? Wala pong problema yan. Madali lang mag-type. Okay? Madali lang mag-mouse, di ba? But it's always the skills that matter.
Great. Thank you, Sir Ray. So yeah, I would agree with that. Your vibe attracts your tribe. That's why we magnetize yung mga common or what we actually with the same field. And yeah, I would agree. We need more time and effort para mas matutunan natin yung lahat ng mga skills that we can acquire in this particular area. So of course, hindi naman namin palalagpasin, sir, that we are not going to give this certificate of appreciation. May I request, sir, to kindly stop po muna ng sharing so we can give away to our certificate. So kindly please acknowledge if you can see my screen, and I hope you can see it now.
Yes.
Yes, loading. Okay, so of course, this is a certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to Sir Professor Raymond FrethLagria. I hope I have pronounced it well, for being a resource person tonight on the webinar session entitled Data Engineering Basics. Of course, this is being initiated by the Filipino Online Professional Service Cooperative, particularly this FOPSCo Academy, signed by yours truly, Dennis Pagyo, and our chairwoman, Ms. Rochelle Rivera de Ocampo. Sir, we are going to send this particular digital certificate on your email. So maraming salamat, sir. With that, I hope na nag-enjoy ka rin, sir, sa ating discussion.
Yes.
And formally, we are also encouraging you to actually share your knowledge and expertise and mag-share ka rin ng journey mo in terms of your online professional industry. So, of course, without further ado, this Filipino Online Professionals is for aspirant members, TICT graduates, and for everyone who are watching us right now, magandang gabi. If you found value in this particular show, kindly share this. Don't forget na i-like and subscribe na rin yung ating mga social media platforms such as YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Maraming salamat. And of course, this is Dennis Pagyo together with my partners, Miss Marvic Flores. Hi, Ate Avic.
Yes.
Thank you.
Then everyone, thank you so much. See you again next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Same time.
Miss Sydney, maraming salamat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. See you again next Tuesday and also tomorrow for another talk for FOPSCo. Yes.
Okay. Particularly for SPARTA episode also.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
With our beautiful host, Ms. Charlene, Ms. Rosh, and also Ms. Jehan. So, abangan nyo po tomorrow. That would be 7 p.m. FOPSCo. Alamin natin. So with that, thank you very much, Sir Raymond. And of course, reminding you here in FOPSCo, we grow together. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
I hope that here we will all grow together.
We grow together.